Hello and welcome to the show, Wicklow Good News with me, Gillian Gottsell. Now, today I've got a double up. I have the Sineads joining me for the show. So that's Sinead O'Riordan and Sinead McGuinness. And the two of them together, not that they need to be one person, but I think they are, but they are about people behind the East Coast Mask Makers. So welcome to the show, girls.
Thank you very much, Gillian.
So I don't know who to ask first because as Sinead O'Riordan, you said at the very beginning, people don't know who they're talking to. It's either no, you morph into each other, and even at a very quick glance in a dark night, long brown hair, you could pass for each other, at least sisters.
Yeah, we have actually been told, even in the village, that we look very alike. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, I mean, people don't know who they're messaging. I mean, we try to sign off our emails with Sinead McGuinness or Sinead O'Riordan, but sometimes I forget and I just write Sinead. So obviously people don't know who they're replying to sometimes, or even our friends now, if they want to send a message to Sinead McGuinness, I might get it by accident or vice versa.
And speaking then, Sinead McGuinness, you also have other similarities. You've got, your families are very similar as well.
They are. We've both got two boys. We lived up until very recently on the same street, and our husbands both work in the techie world.
Wow, so you are
quite similar.
So when were you girls called the Sineads before you got into the East Coast Mask Makers, or is that only subsequently?
Sometimes our friends would refer to us as the Sineads, yes, if we were part of particular WhatsApp groups and things. So,
okay, the Sineads.
Before, yeah.
So how long has the East Coast Mask Makers been set up, and how did it come about?
Do you want to take the question? Yeah, so it's only since the start of April, really, very early days, and it kind of came about, I suppose, in two ways. I had read an interview in the Irish Times about a nurse who wrote in anonymously. She was concerned that she and her colleagues would bring the virus home after their shift work, that there wasn't enough masks. They couldn't use the medical masks to bring home with them, obviously, because there was such a shortage. So I'd written into the person who interviewed her, and I asked him to ask the nurse, would she accept some homemade cloth masks if I were to make some, because I had boxes of fabric and I used to sew, and I studied fashion design years ago. So the nurse came back and said yes, she'd happily accept them. And I had been speaking with Sinead McGuinness then about that, and Sinead got all excited and inspired. And I think your mother-in-law as well, Sin, was... Yeah, no, it was my sister-in-law's mother. Was a carer, or is a carer in a hospital in Galway, and she was going into work every day and was quite terrified that she had no face masks and there was none to be had. So it was kind of around the same time, probably the same day actually, that I saw your post about sending masks to this nurse, and I got in touch with Sinead and I asked her to send some to this particular lady, and I think then we just it snowballed really, didn't it? I mean, snowballed. Yeah, Sinead McGuinness is part of a walking group, so she started messaging a few of those saying, oh, we're going to start making masks. Any of you guys would like to help? And before we knew it, we had about 10 volunteers, and yeah, it's just grown since then.
Wow, and you both, so Sinead O'Riordan, you already said you sew. Sinead McGuinness, do you sew as well?
No, I don't. I was planning on sewing, but actually I suppose the running around and the admin and organizing, this to make sure all the sewers have the fabric, elastic, thread, that kind of thing, and also collecting all the stuff from people, that just took over. And so suddenly we're crazy. Both of us actually are crazy busy with all of that kind of side of it now, and the packing orders and responding to emails. So the logistics. And I don't even have time to sew myself anymore. I haven't sewed a mask in weeks. Wow. Just because of all this running back and forth and planning the logistics and posting off masks and everything. It's gone crazy. Like, we were on Ireland on Call last week as well. RTE's.
Oh, brilliant.
And I swear to God, during the show, the phone kept beeping. We got hundreds and hundreds of emails, Facebook requests. We were slightly panicking, overwhelmed, to say the least. Completely inundated, slightly overwhelmed.
Wow. So how many sewers do you have now?
We 40 plus. There's people volunteering the whole time. So they'd be based really all over Wicklow, Dublin. There's some in a few surrounding areas. And it's really, it's taken off dramatically. I mean, people are emailing us all the time to volunteer, and then to try and get through the emails to get to that point where we can say, yes, this is what you do. Go onto our Facebook and, access the tutorials that all the sewers are using. And
so
just kind of
set up a learning thing. Obviously, to sew a mask, it needs to be of certain dimensions and certain standards. So you set up tutorials to tell people what they need to do.
Exactly. Yes. And each of those, so if they go through the tutorial, at least they know, to ask what questions they might have particular issues with, and other people can help them, especially if they're in their area, they could maybe drop them a mask that they could unpick and follow, themselves, which might sometimes, with some cases, it's easier to do that rather than just follow something online,
So tell me, where do you get your materials from?
We get a lot of donations. We get a lot of donations, and then there's certain companies, reliable, some more reliable than others, at getting to us quickly. There's a place called the Crafty Studio, that's based in Dublin, and they're very quick at getting their material out to us. There's another place called Love Fabric. They're also very, very quick. Other places, I think big, huge companies are inundated, so theirs are a little bit slower. So we're trying not to use them as much, because obviously we need to get the materials in fairly quickly.
And people within the community as well, they donate if they have cotton hanging around at home, or if they've got bed linen that's in fairly good nick, we'll accept that as well. And then we've been buying duvet covers in Dunn's and Tesco, and so we're acquiring it really from loads of places. Somebody donated a lovely pair of curtains the other day. They're gorgeous. They'll make some really nice masks, So
it has to be cotton. This has to be cotton. Is that the base fabric?
Yeah, ideally cotton, just based 100%. On the thread count of the cotton, and you can insert a filter as well into the masks, and by filter I mean like a tissue rolled up 4 times, or a sheet of cotton, or not cotton, and paper. Kitchen towel is actually one of the best. So between that combination with the kitchen towel as a filter and the cotton fabric, it does allow that extra barrier for the droplets.
And do people then have to, because I haven't been wearing a mask yet, although I think it's going to happen, especially when the lockdown eases, I think to go, I mean, right, I live in the countryside, so it doesn't really matter so much for me, except when I go shopping. But when the lockdown ends, I think we are going to be wearing masks, aren't we? So it'll become more important.
Yeah, I think so too.
Know how to take them on and off, the donning and doffing. Do you explain that, or?
Well, it depends on the mask. I have some here. I know now we're on the radio, so you can't see this, but you can see this. So there's particular masks. Some tie around the head, some are cut, so you just tie it yourself around the head. So they're a little bit easier, maybe for some people. We've got some then that just tie around the ears, like this, and then you've got. And then it molds around your face. See there's pleats in it, and it molds around your face. Yeah. Exactly. So the pocket here is in the back,
and that's where you put your extra.
And that's where you put your extra barrier. Yeah. And so it should be easy to. It should be an easy thing to wear a mask properly. But we have put up a couple of infographics just to show on our Facebook page, just to show people that you have to pull it down. It has to go under the chin. Obviously some people leave it up here like this, it's not good, and not under the nose as well, which some people are tending to
do.
And
also the putting the mask on and the taking it off, we advise people to do it by the elastic, as opposed to pawing the fabric.
They want their hands.
Yeah,
exactly. And they're usually we recommend just for single use. So they are reusable masks, but a single use. So if you're running an errand, going to the shop, you come back, you take it off by the elastic, you discard the tissue into the bin, and then you pop it into the wash.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So how many masks would people need then? They'd need, I don't know, maybe half a dozen.
So you'd need one, and then one in the wash kind of thing. So you do, depending on how many you know,
you've got small children. You're working every day, no doubt.
Exactly, you're in and out of the shops the whole time. But so you need one, and then I suppose a backup one if you're planning on doing a lot more errands. Yeah.
I was going to tell a joke, and then I saw your website. There's actually a joke video going around of an American lady going up to some store, and she's cut out this piece around.
Yes.
And she goes, it's so I can breathe and speak more carefully. However, I was going to say that to you, but on your site you actually have perspex ones for lip reading.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So we don't do those. It's just some people have. I suppose they've perfected the art of doing them for people, for the deaf community. I don't know. There was somebody contacted me today.
Yeah, Shane, it's one of our members has made them. Her name is Sally. She's based in Cork, so she has made a few.
Oh, so people could put a request in if they want. If there's a family that needs the requirement to have the lip reading.
Yeah, I'm sure we could help with that as well in our area. But yeah, she did make them, and I'm not sure of the type of plastic that she actually used. I know there was a little bit of a problem with condensation on it as well, but I guess for the length of time that they'd be wearing them, I suppose they'd be wearing them for an hour here, an hour there. But yeah, it's a great idea.
Because if you think about it, I saw another video as well, or actually it was a picture, sorry, on Facebook, where it was an American hospital, all these surgeons, all these healthcare workers, and they had the full scrubs on, everything on, but they'd taken a picture of themselves and pinned it to their chest. So patients could see who
that's a great idea.
Because you're covered with stuff. It's kind of scary. You don't know who they are and who the person is.
That was in Ireland, wasn't it?
Was it? I thought it was in the US.
It was Ireland, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
That's a great idea.
It's lovely.
Because we have to get used to this new way of doing things. And like, although you said, you only set up in April, I think you'll be going for quite a long while, because this is not going to go away tomorrow. So, and the masks you're making are more for people in the community. So I think you're going to be, I say in business, because it is a not-for-profit, obviously, for a lot longer. So you also, in raising money to buy the cloth, you have donations, but you also have a GoFundMe page.
We do.
That's correct, yeah.
And where's that?
So if you just literally Google East Coast Mask Makers GoFundMe, it'll
come up. And how much have you raised so far on the GoFundMe?
What is it, Shin?
I think it's over $8,000 now.
Wow.
Yeah, I just checked today. It's over 8,000, which is an incredible amount. People are so generous.
We got a letter from Wicklow County Council in today telling us that we've been awarded €1,000 for the COVID-19 emergency grant 2020. So we've gotten €1,000.
We're delighted.
That is brilliant. Oh my goodness.
We're delighted. We literally just got that.
Yeah, we haven't even announced it yet. We're like jumping around. It just goes to show that, I guess, what we're doing is really,
And who are you giving these masks to? Are you the general public, healthcare workers, or what's happening there?
It's everybody really, but it's mainly where the priority is for vulnerable people and carers within the community. So far, I mean, we've had an awful lot of people, a lot of cocooners actually coming out. Obviously now they're let out for their walks and stuff, so they are a bit terrified, so they want masks, in order to feel safe and stuff. But we've had an awful lot of places like Purple House in Bray. We had Sunbeam, their facility for, I think they have a couple of different places all over Wicklow for adults with disabilities. I think they've asked for 400. So there's an awful lot, so there's small amounts going to different people, but then obviously we get a big order like that, we have to break it down into batches.
Yeah. Wow. And so this is now your full-time job, both of you?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I have to say, the Sineads, you did a great job. It's wonderful. I mean, I love the Sineads. I mean, I think you'll have to form a pop band afterwards. You can't stop now. And it's a great thing that you're doing. And also, I wanted to mention, I spoke with Eva Black last week.
Oh, yes.
The front door portraits, or the home portraits. And she donated, I think she's hoping to give you another €1,000.
She is.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She's so nice. Really, really generous girl. Eva Blake. Isn't it? She's so generous, and she went around on Saturday going around to different houses taking photographs of people, and it was just really super nice. So we're really impressed with her. Delighted that she collaborated with us.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
so kind.
Well, see, this is part of the reason why Marlene and I do the show, is because there is such goodwill and good people out there. I mean, you're 40 plus volunteers, all the people donating the apron and the GoFundMe.
Yes, and don't forget the bikers. We've a local biker group called Bravo Charlie Tango. They are absolutely fantastic.
They're doing a lot of deliveries, aren't they?
They are doing so many for us. And the people, I suppose what it is they have motorcycle enthusiasts who have kind of said, oh yeah, we'll volunteer to do something. So they have, I don't even know how many members they have, but they all of a sudden, you know, a guy will come up and he'll have come up from Baltinglass or from, you know, all over Wicklow. They're coming up to us and they're delighted to get the call. You know, they all, I think of WhatsApp goes out to everybody and it's like fastest finger first, you know, whoever can get in there to do the volunteering.
That's giving me goosebumps.
I know, yeah.
That's gorgeous.
They're amazing. And I must say it's the highlight of my day, them rocking up there.
Yeah.
To hear their motorbikes roaring up the drive. And last week, actually, we were getting a delivery of some fabric and elastic, and one fella's sat nav, one of his mobile was about to die of battery. So he texted another friend of his to help him get to my location. And the three of them actually roared up the drive. And I live in a quiet estate. And I was like, Jesus, what must the neighbours be thinking? But they're amazing. And then just a while ago, I had a guy pick some up, and he's friends that I would have worked with on set. And he came, just wrapped up, and it was great. Like, it was like two worlds colliding, you know. It's
brilliant. Well, I have to say, well done, guys, because it's just a great thing that you're doing. It's super, and I love your enthusiasm and your laughter, and I love the fact that the Sineads are doing it. I say it's a band, it's a film. I don't know, it's something. This is all over.
Well, you know, we are, like, it's myself and Sinead managing it, but without the team of machinists, we have nothing.
Exactly.
You're right.
Fantastic group of girls, really like churning out loads and loads of masks.
And the camaraderie between everybody is so good. You know, the encouragement, they're so encouraging to each other, so congratulating each other on you know, certain batches going out. I mean, it's wonderful. They're an absolutely fantastic group of people, and they should be very proud.
It's great for them as well, because there's one particular lady, and she's cocoon. Well, she's not cocooning, she's isolating because she has underlying health conditions, and she even has to self-isolate from her family. So she's lucky that she's got her machine in her room, and that's given her a complete lifeline. And that's the word that has been used to us by a few people. It's given them a lifeline. It's given them a sense of worth, a sense of like purpose now. So it's kind of a win-win. The people at home making the masks, they've got something to do, and then the people receiving the masks.
You're making me tear up now.
Oh, yeah.
It is true, though. Well, for people looking back, you'll say, what did you do during this time, for starters? But while we're in the middle of it, to have that joy in the midst of such carnage, it's beautiful.
You know, it's quite, for us as well, it's hugely humbling, because obviously we have to, myself and Sinead have to go through all the emails, and you would have, you know, a correspondence of at least 2 emails with every one person. But the stories, my goodness, the stories are so heartbreaking. People with underlying conditions, or their children have underlying conditions, and we do cry. Like, it is, you know, we're not robots. It's desperately sad. So to be able to help them by just giving them, you know, alleviating some amount of stress that they may have, so they can go and attend their hospital appointments or something. It's fantastic.
I just had a man and a woman called to my door there. She was delivering fabric, actually, and bed linen to me, and her father was in the back of the car, and he had one of the disposable masks on, and his name was Jimmy. And she said, oh, this is my dad. He donated €100 to your GoFundMe, and I was thanking him. And she said, is there any chance I could get a couple of masks off you? And I was like, oh my God, of course you can. And there he was after donating last week, and he was sitting there with his disposable one. So God bless him. You know, people are just amazing.
People are amazing. I think we hold on to that in this very scary world. We need to know that we are better than that, and it's not what we're going through, it's what we're going to be afterwards. Again, I think if we hold on to experiences like this, we will be better in the long run.
Yeah, hugely positive things, I think, can come out of a crisis, and I think this is certainly one of them.
Yeah. Well, you made me cry, and it's only a Monday. Oh dear. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's brilliant. We will come back to you, and I want to hear more stories. We'll come back because we'll once we set this up, the Wicklow Good News. We're also creating our own little tribe as well. So we'll be coming back and find out more stories and what's happened since, and how your empire is going.
Can I just add there before we go, just one very quick thing that to date, really, the tally has gone over 6,000 masks.
Oh, wow.
That's
amazing.
So amazing gratitude to all of our team out there. They're just doing fantastic work. Yeah. Wow.
Well, congratulations to the two Sineads.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us on.
No, you're brilliant. And thank you to Marlena Murphy producing, Gavin Dowd on sound. Be good, be safe, keep on helping each other. Until next time, you're listening to Wicklow Good News. Bye-bye.
Bye.